Let me ask you a question. How many species on the planet use condiments, herbs, spices, salt, pepper, oil, vinegar to flavor their food before they eat it? Now, you know the stuff that people spray on their grass to keep all the weeds out, the herbicides? How many of you already know that it's toxic to your cat and your baby? And you, except for one thing, you're much bigger than your cat and your baby and insects. You see, there's one central nervous system design on Earth. Every organism shares the exact same design, central nervous system design. And what that means are that central nervous system poisons, things that we call poison, are toxic to every species. There are a few exceptions, and those are exceptions only because that species evolved to somehow be able to metabolize that poison, for their livers to be able to break it down, where they were never intended to. An example of this: tobacco farmers create fences specifically designed to keep rabbits out. Why rabbits? Why are they only worried about rabbits? Because tobacco is highly toxic and nothing will eat it except rabbits, because they've evolved to be able to metabolize the poison. Why would they do that as a species? They have no competition for the food. Nobody else is eating tobacco. They can have all they want if they can get to it. Okay? By the way, we have tobacco family plants here. Don't eat them. They'll make you real sick real fast. Okay? So there's an example of an exception. But generally speaking, if something's toxic, it's toxic to everything. So if basil's toxic to insects, what does that mean about its toxicity for you and I? It's poison. But here's the thing. Most people will never eat enough of it at one time to notice it in their already toxic bodies. It doesn't take very much basil or any of these herbs in my body for me to not feel as good. I feel the difference. And if you're not sure about this, if you don't believe me, when you go home, get a big bag of basil and have a basil salad. Not some basil in your salad, no lettuce, just basil. Basil and tomatoes, a big bowl of it. Okay? It won't kill you, but you'll feel sick. Promise you. It's toxic. If you want to eat a little bit of culinary herbs, go ahead. But keep in mind, when you eat real food, let me ask you a question. How many species on the planet use condiments, herbs, spices, salt, pepper, oil, vinegar to flavor their food before they eat it? We're the only ones. How come no other species needs to do this? Maybe they just haven't figured it out, but why do you think maybe they don't do it? They don't need it because they're eating the foods their bodies were intended for. They eat their natural diet, and their natural diet is naturally appealing to them. Do you need salt, pepper, oil, vinegar, spices, or herbs when you eat mangoes and watermelon? If we eat the food that our bodies were intended for, we have no need for these substances, which are always toxic to us. Always. Okay? So herbs, culinary herbs, are toxic and harmful to us. They're not very harmful if we eat them in normal quantities, but they're not good for us. And we never ever need them if we stick to the simple, optimal diet that our bodies are intended for. This makes sense to everyone. Yeah? Same for cilantro. Yes. Any of these herbs, any of these little green plants that have a strong smell and taste, there's taste and smell happens because of the alkaloids in the plant, which make it toxic. Okay, the intention is to warn the insects. The insects learn the hard way. What happened to Bill? He ate some of that leaf over there. Don't try that.